Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, friends and family, we welcome you here, Mark Eglin Field, for today's AWFL contest, the Detroit Prowl versus the Carolina Tigers. I'm Tommy Morris here with the fabulous Frank Mazzella. And Frank, between these two teams, it seems like both teams coming in a playoff run are a little bit trying to find their identity.
Definitely, both teams are 2-3 here coming in. They need a big win here to get some momentum going into the playoffs here with a 2-3 record, and we'll see what happens here today. Detroit lost to Carolina earlier this year, 13-6, so they need some revenge right now. Carolina coming in here with their 2-3 record, looking to win and have a 3-3 record going into a wild card playoff in the first week of June.
And led by the Detroit Prowls, led by number 18, Allie Gorsica, was banged up a little bit last week. We'll see if she steps in. Again, any report from the sideline on Gorsica's condition? And if not, what do you want to see her do differently than in the past few weeks?
Well, we got even tougher conditions today here with the wind. The last 2 weeks we've had some wind. Today, right now, we've got wind going up from 17 miles an hour out of the west up to 28 miles an hour right now. So it's going to be a tough go again with the passing game here for Detroit. Going to have to keep it on the ground, a little ground and pound, and that's going to win the game. We'll see what Detroit comes out with, but another day of tough passing with this stiff wind here from the west.
Michaela Tanner, the quarterback for the Carolina Tigers, again, is known that she does have some legs, can scramble out of the pocket. That defense from Detroit, who has been stellar thus far this season, a big backbone for the team, is going to have to get to him pretty quick, eh, Frank?
Well, Detroit's going to have to – their defense is going to have to be stiff again this week. They're going to, be stiff. They're going to have to eat up a lot of clock when they're on offense and keep this game to the defense. The defense is going to win this game. They're going to need some turnovers like they got last week, but their offense is going to have to eventually put some points on the board in order to win this game.
Some other bright spots for the Prowl. Again, you have two-way player, Lele Stromile, who, again, can jitterbug out of the backfield with some speed and then plays defensive back. She was responsible for a turnover for an interception last week. Again, a few dual weapons, offensive and defense for the Prowl. Again, with Patman, Bugs Patman, she also is a dual threat. So hopefully they can get it together, as you mentioned, Frank. A little offense, and maybe Coach Vitale will have a little wrinkle in his playbook.
Well, we'll see what Coach Vitale worked on this week. After that tough loss, the 2 losses to Lansing this year, getting shut out last week, they definitely got to come back with a big game here, close out the season, and then work towards the playoffs.
And the Detroit Prowl will be receiving the ball here first, and we encourage you to go grab your favorite beverage, get settled in for a night of AWFL action here, and we will be right back for the opening kickoff here on the Go Live Sportscast. Welcome back on Go Live Sportscast here for the opening kickoff, AWFL action. If you're just joining us, Detroit Prowl in the dark jerseys. We have the Carolina Tigers in the white jersey. Detroit Prowl will be receiving the ball, and usually in the backfield or in the back for receiving the kickoff is Danielle Kurse, and she has pretty good average coming into tonight's game as far as for kickoff, which she does get the ball in her hands. So we'll see how the field position plays here for the receiving Prowl. Just tuning in, action kickoff.
We got the leading the crew of the officials today, former Detroit Danger demolition wide receiver Nicole Randolph. She's also in the Big Ten and the NCAA football official.
Some pretty good. Hey, they show you how women's professional football rolls off everywhere. Number 2 is Jada Bass, and here we go. Short kick bounces to 30-yard line. Picked up by Kurse. She goes to the left. A little stutter step, cuts back to the right, has a little hole she could be in, but she steps inside, that gets to the hash marks all the way out to the 45-yard line where the Prowl will start first and 10.
Well, good start. They got the ball there a few yards on the kickoff return, and they'll start at the 45. We'll see what Detroit comes out with immediately, if they're going to go to the ground and pound game or go to the passing or just try something different as in previous weeks.
And we're taking a look at and just as we were mentioning earlier, trying to get that scouting report on the Prowl, where it does not look like Gorsica is starting the game here, Frank. So that could be advantageous to the Carolina Tigers.
Yeah, she got hurt last week late in that game. She took a hit straight on a sack there, and she went out of that game and didn't come back. So we got a new quarterback here today.
LaRae Brown will line up in the shotgun. Lele Stromeyer to her left. Oh, it's a snap over Brown's head. She has to go back quickly, back to the 30. She fumbles around with it, looks around. She's met there by a defender and dropped for a huge loss back to their own 25-yard line.
Well, that wasn't a design play. That was just a bad snap over the quarterback's head. She got her hands on it, but just couldn't grip onto it. And a bad start here, early going for the Detroit Prowl.
You mentioned the conditions already, Frank, and it is a little cooler than we had here in Michigan. The ball, as you said, not enough stickum on that hands. And LaRae Brown is a pretty tall quarterback, so that snap going over her head was definitely jetted. And second and long for the Prowl. Same setup. Stromeyer to the left. Almost over Brown's head again. She corrals it, though. She throws it to Stromeyer. Nice spin move at the 30 to the 35. She beats a tackle there, steps inside, and rolls out to the 38-yard line.
Well, it looked like that play was going to go down, too. Luckily, Detroit Prowl made something out of nothing. Another high snap that was gobbled up, and just a short pass to the outside. And now we're into a third down situation here.
Well, Brown did collect herself nicely, and I noticed a nice play that Brown did is she had seen, even though that pass looked like she had seen the defender's back to her. So when she made that pass just over, the defender had no clue it was coming, and by that time Stromeyer had collected it, and a nice gain on the play to get some yardage back. So they still have a third and long situation here. Looks like about third and 16 and a half, and now there is a penalty. Yeah, illegal substitution on the Prowl, which, again, will end up backing him up 5 yards unless it's declined.
Mike Vitale, Coach Vitale, hollering out on the field. He doesn't like that call one bit. Set them back just a bit here and see what Brown has up her sleeve. Maybe it takes her a few plays to get in this game here and get her feet under her.
So we're looking along third down and 21 yards. And this will be a good test right here for the character of the Prowl. Two wides on the right. Another snap over the head of Brown. She collects it on the bounce, rolls all the way back to her 15. She's rolling left. She's looking. Here's a dump off. Short. That's ruled incomplete and not a fumble on the play. Just in and out of the hands of Susie Atkins.
Well, that's 3 snaps over the head of the quarterback Brown out of the shotgun, and that's going to have to be worked on here. We're in a fourth down situation. Quickly, Detroit's going to have to punt this ball deep inside their 30, and they're in.
Wind blowing from the Prowl right across the field to the left sidelines of the Tigers. Little mix-up on the line for the punt. They get that extra person off the field.
Wind going cross field.
Another high snap.
This one.
Hull rolls all the way down to the 4-yard line, and Carolina Tigers will have wonderful field possession inside the 5-yard line, it looks like, of the Prowl.
Well, that's 4 snaps in a row. I don't know. We're going to have to talk to that center, Detroit Prowl, or get something organized. Or something. Their snapping game right now is just put them in a big hole here. Carolina, first and goal at the 5. And they can strike early here with their offense.
Early moments here of the first quarter if you're just tuning in. A few high snaps, a couple penalties, a fourth down high snap on a punt that resulted in what you see now, Carolina with the ball on the 5-yard line, a wonderful field position with 11:15 here left to go in the first. And Frank, we'll see if the defense, again, it just seems like we've been saying this over and over, if they can hold off this early barrage of mistakes by the offense, if they can hold on here.
Well, here's a big opportunity for the defense to rise again here in the red zone as Carolina's got a first and goal. Let's see what their D can do now.
So number 14, Raven Venus, quarterback for the Tigers. She takes a look around, calls her own number, rolls, and doesn't get anything. She's met by two defenders there for the Prowl that block up that hole.
Looked like that was just a quick snap and a mix-up play. Quarterback didn't know if she wanted to do the sneak or look for a handoff, and Detroit gets stiff right there, and we're still 2nd and 5 or 2nd and goal here.
Yeah, Lexi Bryant, and, we talked about a two-way player, that Bugs Patman, who she is, again, one of the backs in the offense, and she stepped up in the middle to close that hole there on that tackle defensively. So 2nd down now in the same 5 for the Tigers. They roll with the I formation. Straight up. Venus takes a look. There's the snap to the halfback. Oh, a fumble there. Big on the ball on the ground, and we'll see recovered by the Tigers as Venus found that under the pile of bodies, scooped it up, and saved it. Yeah, saved it for the Tigers.
Quickly, Carolina, a couple of bad offensive plays themselves. Not on snaps, but generally just a handoff and the quarterback. So a timeout here. Detroit had an opportunity to pounce on that ball and get that ball back deep in their end. Just couldn't get down on that ball. And now it's 3rd down and goal for the Carolina Tigers.
Yeah, and the Tigers called the timeout here, and they're just probably going over and say, hey, listen, we've got some great – let's not back it up here. We're giving a gift here at the 5-yard line, and we're rolling backwards. So a couple good plays here for the Prowl to back up the Tigers, and facing 3rd down and goal here.
Looks like it's contagious on both offenses right now. They're both shooting each other in the foot here. Nothing going, so it's a 3rd down and goal. And we'll see. Detroit's been stiff on defense, like we have said all year so far, and they're going to have to come up big here again, at least hold them to 3 points or less.
Well, again, Carolina, the traveling team, if they got into town late last night, or let's face it, we have a late kickoff here, 6 o'clock. It could have been as early as, late as this afternoon for some of these players, and maybe they're squeezing the ball a little hard, trying to get their equilibrium going. But nonetheless, Coach had mentioned to them, hey, let's try to right this ship here and get it going. There's Venus. She tries a lateral, a broken play. The ball is on the ground loose and scooped back up at the 18-yard line by Carolina.
Well, there's 2 fumbles right away there by Carolina, and they're in a 4th down situation. Their offense looks a little jittery right now here, too. Another opportunity for Detroit to recover a fumble, but they held them, and here's a 4th down situation. Carolina.
It looked like, Venus was looking like she was going to call her own number, got that wall closed off, tried that ill-advised lateral to 26, Anna King, and King had trouble with it, but recovered, and again, still not going the right way for both teams here. We have a 4th and long. Shotgun. Jada Bass. That's Davis. Back for Carolina. She throws it, a completed pass inside the 3, the 2, rolling to the 1, almost to the goal line. Very, very close, but just could not get past that. Mo King could just not cross that line in a wonderful defensive play. Turnover on downs. The Prowl will get the ball back.
Well, it almost made it in there. That was a 4th and goal there. Just made it inside the 1. Just couldn't get inside into the end zone. So big turnover there on 4th downs. Detroit will start inside their 1. Another tough situation for the offense to be in. But the offense is going to have to start making things happen. They're going to have to keep that ball on the ground, whether it's, if they're out of the shotgun or whatever. But they're in danger zone right here, deep in their end.
Boy, a big stellar play defensively, as Carolina is using 2-quarterback system. But now the Prowl inside their 1-yard line. Couple high snaps earlier, cannot afford any high snaps in this position. Stromile will line up back in behind the quarterback, LeRae Brown. LeRae looking over. 2 wideouts to the right, 1 up top. She calls her own number. Tries rolling forward. She does get about 4 out to about the 6-yard line, where it'll be second down.
Well, a little breathing room for the Detroit offense right there, getting that off the 1-yard line, getting about 4 yards there. Now they got some opportunities to change the plays up maybe get a few more. Good second down position to be in.
Larry Brown, again, a tall quarterback. And she can be a load to bring down there when she gets into that open field if she can get past the line of Carolina. And the chains were accidentally moved, it looks like. We have a second down and about 4, and the chains were moved, and now the refs are discussing it over there and correcting the.
It looks like the chain gang is having a few of their own problems here in the early going. So it'll be a second down. That was a first down inside their 1, a gain about 5 yards on that first down. And
you know, the way that the Prowl's offense has been, that little foot is a very – hopefully they get that spot right. It looks like they don't have her. I think the ball started inside the 1. They have it marked outside the 1 on that marker, and it looks like that doesn't matter, does it? We don't have any control down there, but the Prowl at this point could get any advantage. They don't need to be backed up even on the chains, huh? Brown again, but we have a flag on the play.
Looks like an offsides possibly there.
They jumped the Carolina jumped in.
Good situation.
That'll remove the chains for a Prowl first down.
Now the chain gang, they can move, and fresh set of downs here for Detroit. Opportunity maybe get the jitters out here and work things down, work down the field here slowly.
Brown lines up under center. There's the snap, a little pitch to Stromile. She's met immediately in the background. That's going to go for a loss of about 2. And a nice play there on that right side.
She got stuffed like a Christmas stocking there. Nowhere to go, right in the backfield, and second down for Detroit, second down and long.
And Mo King, Carolina Tigers, on the stop there. She's also a dual threat, offensively and defensively. Second down and a long 12.5, it looks like. So I haven't seen really a lot of run plays so far, Frank. Are you surprised by anything now that they're getting the offense a little, under their feet?
Well, no, exactly. Not surprised by anything in this early going, the way both offenses came out there. And so they're going to have to be very conservative here until things start rolling for each side.
And you mentioned pound. There's Brown with their own number. Oh, when she gets smacked down there, but not after gaining a pretty good chunk of yardage, getting back almost to the line of scrimmage, if not gained another yard after that. It'll bring up a third down and 9 on the 11 from their 11-yard line.
So a tough situation to be in here. Third and 9. Going back to the shotgun possibly here. We haven't had a good snap here on a shotgun situation yet. Maybe not. She's going to.
Patman comes into the backfield for the Prowl. And Brown under center. Looking over, there's a snap to Patman. Patman off the right side. There's a big hole. Patman out to the 20 to 25, gets pushed down at the 27-yard line. First down for the Prowl.
We got a flag on the play. It looked like that could have been possibly holding or a clip by Detroit. This might be coming back here.
Oh, and there is a hold, and that'll bring it back, and another penalty is ouch.
Well, they stopped going out of the shotgun because of the bad snaps, and now they're getting hurt by penalties that are self-inflicting here again. Good run by Detroit, just wiped off the board here.
So they'll replay the down, still third down, but now it's 14. And that may change up this play call a little bit. Clock running here with 5:18 left in the first quarter. Thank you for joining us here from Mark Eglin Arena. The Detroit Prowl with the ball. 3rd and long. There's the pitch. There's Patman around to the outside. She gets loose again. She hits the sideline to the 20. To stiff arm, but pushed out at the 23-yard line, close to the sticks. I don't know if that's going to be far enough for a first down. They're measuring. It's really, really close, Frank.
Looks like she got a good run to the outside. That pitch, she stayed outside, changed things up there a bit for Detroit. Brown is over the center, not taking any of those long snaps anymore from the shotgun. So this looks like this is going to be a first down. We got an injured player right now down on the Prowl side, so we'll wait that one out and see what goes on from there.
And while we wait to see how this player is, let's take a break for our commercial sponsors and welcome back to AWFL football after this. So we welcome you back here to the action from Mark Eglin Arena, and we had a short delay here for an injury from Detroit Prowl. We don't want to speculate on what had happened, what had occurred, but there was an injury to a Prowl player. They are wheeling off, as you saw in the background, and we do pray. As soon as we have some kind of update to the press box, we'll pass it along. And again, we don't want to speculate on any injuries here. We do know that the EMTs were on the spot quickly. They were performing, and they have now just wheeled her off the card. And from our initial reports, we have that player as number 39, Rocky Pritchett. So Rocky Pritchett, if that is the case, and again, you may notice that name, Frank. That's ex-Detroit Lion Calvin Pritchett's daughter, who's on this team.
Yeah, absolutely, and we hope and pray for her. If that was her during that injury. Things happen in these games, and there's injuries. The teams are both out there. Nobody wants to see anybody get hurt in football or anything else, and we just hope for a quick recovery for her. And we'll see. There was we didn't see how it happened exactly, that injury, but we're going to get back into the game right now on that next play.
Yeah, and Bug Patman had a long run the last play, so now it is first down and 10 for the Prowl with 4:40 here left to go in the first quarter. We welcome you back to the action. There's the handoff. There's Bugs again over the right side, and she stumbles and falls out to the 31-yard line.
So just a quick handoff there. That during that injury timeout there was some practicing on the sidelines as quarterback Brown was taking snaps from the shotgun, trying to get that down with their center.
And now they hurry up to the line here, trying to get this formation out. Lurie Brown still chirping out some instructions. Oh, the defense jumped on that, and hopefully the Prowl line didn't move. I don't think so. Maybe offsides encroachment on the Carolina Tigers. Oh, no.
So there was movement in the front line by Detroit on that play. Carolina jumped, but Detroit moved first quickly, and they get the penalty, and that sets them back 5 yards.
All it takes is that head to lift up on that line, and you're going to get called for that. So now we have a second down and 12. There's another jump there, and looks like it's going to back up the Prowl even more. Sure enough. And again, Frank, it seems you go 5 yards forward, 10 yards backwards.
Well, it's a terrible way to play a football game offensively, is just keep on going backwards, getting a play, move up a little, go backwards. Definitely going to have to straighten these penalties out here at halftime.
Second down, 18. Brown hands it off. They're dropped there. Fumble on the ground. The Carolina Tigers. It looks like Ava King picks it up. Mo King for the Carolina Tigers, and another big defensive play for that young lady today. And another offensive mistake for the Prowl.
Well, another turnover by Detroit's offense there, giving the Carolina Tigers a big opportunity in the red zone to capitalize here in the late in the first quarter with 3:39 left to go here. They stopped Carolina earlier with that fourth down situation there taking it down to the 1 yard line, but Carolina's got a fresh set of downs here from looks like about the 13.
So here we go now. Carolina with the ball. Good field possession again. They bring in Jada Bass now. Or I'm sorry, number 8 is their quarterback. It's Erica Davis. So, and a flag on the play, false start on Carolina, and that's going to back them up. And again, a plethora of penalties on both teams here. They cannot get any momentum going. Nothing about the weather, nothing about the play selection. It's just
a disciplined situation here on penalties. Too eager, too fast. Not disciplined, and take the 5 yards. Both teams getting their share of penalties here in the first quarter.
You know, I do know also that it all depends on different referees also and what they're expecting, how much they're going to let go, how much you're not going to let go. And it could be just the calling of, and maybe that's what the refs are saying at this time. You know, what are you calling here? Why are we jumping? What are you looking at that we don't see? It doesn't look like there's much movement. It could be just lifted a little bit of the head to make someone jump, or that illegal procedure. And 3:23 they want to put back on the clock.
So regardless, the 1st and 15 for the Carolina Tigers here.
Davis overlooking. 2 backs each side of her. Split receivers. Taking her time on that count. Prowl looking, they're trying to jam her up. There's a handoff. Brought back, met in the backfield, and another drop of 5 yards there as Mackenzie Richards had nowhere to go on that. Great defensive.
Big play by Detroit Prowl coming into the backfield quickly, and a big loss on that run play. Just a handoff. Going the opposite direction, going the other side of the field. And that was a loss of at least 7-8 yards there, maybe 5 yards.
So now we have a second and approximately 21, 22 yards here for Carolina. Both teams' offenses cannot get running at this place, at this time. We have seen Erica Davis's arm earlier on their first possession. We'll see what she does here. Back split to each side. Again, 2 receivers up top. She looks and goes to King again, and that one just in and out of her hands, and it'll bring up 3rd down.
Well, good defensively. She covered her good there, stayed tight with her. Carolina just couldn't come down with that ball, get both hands on it. Another long yard situation here for the Tigers.
Mo King seems to be a weapon there for Carolina. Offensively, defensively. 3rd and long. We'll see if they call her number again. King lined up in your camera, close to your camera, one-on-one. Defender jamming her up at the line. They're going long over the right side and too far for everybody, and that'll bring up a 4th down.
Well, we've seen Carolina doing a lot of that during the early game practice. Before game, Carolina was airing that ball out and making connections. Good defense by Detroit again, holding them up here. Carolina, this will be a 4th down situation.
So 1:14 on the clock. Carolina with a timeout and a 4th down and long. Probably discussing what they're going to do here. You know, what do you do here? You're inside the 30-yard line. You go for it and just hope to heave one up. They got to get to the Prowl 3.5-yard line for a 1st down, or, you know.
Well, you're in a situation you don't have a field goal kicker that's going to make that, plus the wind situation here. Still blowing out of the west at 15 to 20 miles an hour, so you might as well go for it. You're still, irregardless, Detroit's, if they get the ball on turnover, they're just going to be starting at their 25. So why not trying to air it out? Try for a Hail Mary here. Do something. The ball's going to be turned over anyway. You can't punt it from here. What are you going to pooch it? Try to pooch it?
Well,
I mean, it's a tough situation.
It is
but
tough.
It it's not both stellar defenses. It's both offenses that aren't playing to a good capability.
Well, Davis does have an arm on her. We did see that. She can't get that ball down the field, so that's all about to play out right now. Fourth and very, very long here. 1:14 left to go with the first quarter. Score tied 0. 4 receivers, 2 split on each side of Davis. There she goes. She's looking to the left. There's a long bomb, and just over the head of King.
Well, there was an opportunity there. They wanted to go for it. She was wide open. They just couldn't connect on that pass. And, it's not a bad play to call at this point in this situation.
Boy, King was open on that far side too. If
Erica
Davis could have just held on just for a second to let her run that route, that could have been lights out for Carolina or for Detroit. So turnover on downs, as you mentioned, Frank. 1st and 10 for the Prowl. Late substitution in for the Prowl. In motion. Brown gets the snap, fakes the Stromile. Brown looking around. She's got to move her legs, and she does, right back up to the center of the field. She might be lucky to gain a yard on that. 2nd down.
Well, it looks like they cleaned up the snaps now. That out of the shotgun, they're getting them clean right there. At least that one was clean. She just didn't have anywhere to go with the ball. It takes a little while to get her motor running there, but Detroit's going to have to find some offense here, whether they run it to the outside or whatever, some short passing game.
And a Prowl player down again, and is that Brown? And it's a quarterback, it looks like. Lurie 16, and I think that is
That's Brown. If that's 16 there.
No, yeah, I think that is. I don't see Brown on the sidelines. Unless that's her close. No.
They'll be in a tough situation if that is Brown, currently the backup quarterback for Gorsica, who's out because of an injury.
And Brown did make the run on that side on that play. She called her own number.
We're not definite on that number yet. Just speculating here. We're speculators, just like you're watching the game from wherever you're at.
And she's up and okay and trots to the sideline. And it was Lurie Brown, but she's no worse for wear. Probably got a little wind knocked out of her for a little bit. Has taken a couple of hard hits. That's what happens. Your quarterback running. That's what you don't want to see, is them getting hit like that just because of that situation. So
here we go. Another situation where Detroit Prowl's going to have to figure out things quickly. A backup quarterback. I don't know, the third QB here on the team takes over for at least this play, maybe more. 44 seconds left to go in the first quarter. A 2nd and long, 2nd and 8 here. What do? You got a quarterback here that's been sitting on the bench possibly.
So you definitely probably will go for a run play, I would think. And
trying to see who came in there.
Kelly Bernadette maybe? There's a fake there. A screen pass. Oh, Stromile was open but just couldn't get it to her. And it was Kelly Bernadette that's in right now for a couple snaps here while Lurie Brown gets her wind.
Well, good play call there. Right cold off the bench. Just tossed it to the outside looking for a screen. Just couldn't connect it. So now they're in a 3rd down and long situation here.
And I'm sorry, it's not number 6, number 5, Sydney Hebel. So Hebel gets the snap. Hebel looking around. Hebel has all kinds of time. There it goes, long and incomplete. Just fell short for Micah Vining.
Well, I like those 2 play calls. You're cold, you come off the bench, you're just going to fire it. Let's see what happens. They didn't connect on them, but here's a 4th down situation. Definitely going to have to think things over even deep in their ends as they try to connect on by the air and just couldn't get it done.
Yeah, we didn't see that the last few games, Frank. Them going to the air as much, and it's surprising that they are going to the air so much with the backup quarterbacks here.
Well, it's kind of really surprising it was back-to-back air plays. I don't think we've saw 2 passes in a row in the 3 home games so far this season.
So Coach Vitale, of course, he senses the change, wants to shake something up, and again, this is another quarter that the Prowl have not put up any points in quite a while. Spanning now, we're looking at approximately 5 quarters now, including last game.
Offensively, they've got to get something working for them. They just haven't been able to, and it's been a struggle all season for Detroit to get some points on the board. Their defense has kept them in these games, but how long can you rely on your defense?
So 4th down, a punting situation. That's what the Prowl looks like that they will. I thought so for a minute. I do see Hebel. I do see their kicker, Bernadette, and yes, they're going to punt this on 4th down. So
wind strong right now out of the west. Oh, fake.
Oh, there's a fake. Hebel lofts it. Stromile, in and out of the hands, and a beautiful fake there, but Stromile could not corral that, and Carolina will take over at the Detroit Prowl 28-yard line.
Well, it wasn't executed, but it was a great play call and almost came through there. No harm there. Your defense is going to stand up here. It's got to stand up. Good play choice there, but it just couldn't connect on it. 3 opportunities where you aired that ball out. You just need to make those catches.
Yeah, I call that one of the – that was tough. It looked like – the ball was there. You got to make the catch, and it looked like she looked up expecting to get hit. And when you do that, you take your hands off the ball. You gotta have some kind of commitment to go in the middle right there. If your number is going to get called, you're going to want that ball. You're going to have a commitment to get to that middle and take that hit possibly if you're going to get hit.
Looks like Coach Vitale is hot. You could fry an egg on his neck. How do you like your eggs? Sunny side up?
However, Coach doesn't want them because I don't want to be that's for sure. Oh, So
Detroit had to call a timeout there quickly. Looked like all the Detroit coaches were up in their arms. They were wanting something done here. Didn't happen for them, and they had to call a timeout, Detroit.
So as we take a look, with the expansion of the AWFL and the product that they are portraying on the field here with, again, the growth of professional women's football and, the owners where you have a collection of owners. Coach Vitale's involved with the Prowl. You have Cassandra Littlejohn involved with the Carolina Tigers. And, they do have a vision for the sport. You could see even some of the officials now had played professional women's football, and it's good to see the growth.
Absolutely, and you're going to keep seeing the growth of women's football in several leagues.
So 14:04 here, the second quarter. Erica Davis joined 2 backs to each side of her. She hands it off to Venus gets a couple on that. And it'll be 2nd down and about 6.
Good play execution there, just a simple handoff. She cut to the middle of the line there and got a big gain, probably about 6 yards, 5 yards. Good 2nd down situation there for the Tigers.
Lexi Brown on the tackle for that, sniffed her out after that. So 2nd and about 6. And a good time to check out some play action here, Frank. We'll see if Carolina decides to do that. Looks like they're going the nickel package for the Prowl, only rushing 3 up at the line. 4 at the line, and they are coming from the outside. Inside goes the pass, and it was just incomplete for Mo King.
Well, a slant pass right there coming out, and just behind her with that pass, she was wide open. Just put that ball behind her. She was ahead on that route there, just couldn't go backwards.
Well, you can see, I tell you, if they get their timing set between Davis and King, it could become a pretty good tandem here in the future for these Carolina Tigers. We have third down. Big set of downs right here for the defense of the Prowl. They have the same defensive look. Davis claps, handoff, little shutter shake into the line, has to turn around, has some open room on that left side. Let's see if she turned the corner. She's cut off there. Another little stutter step, a juke, and spun out of bounds. Still on her feet, though. No, she didn't get out of bounds, and stumbles forward for the first down in a great second and third effort.
That was absolutely crazy. That was a Barry Sanders run against the Dallas Cowboys, like a pinball bouncing off of people and kept on going.
And a beautiful inside-outside effort for a first down, and Mackenzie Richards with that.
That was definitely entertaining, whether you're a fan of football or either team. That was definitely a nice run as she kept on going.
So Davis with Venus and Richards in the backfield from the shotgun. New set of downs. Carolina threatening. 11:30 to go here in the second quarter. Scoreless tie. There's the snap. A handoff to Richards. Again, she drops the ball. And a big defensive recovery by the Prowl. Number 30, Caitlin Crittenden, it looks like, jumps on that ball. Number 20, Toya Chenal.
Finally, Detroit gets a break. They get a turnover deep in their end, and that's what they needed. They needed that turnover. A couple of fumbles went Carolina's way earlier in the game. Now Detroit has an opportunity here in the second quarter.
And the Prowl defense, again, we said it time and time before, just keeps holding this team in there. And we'll see if the Prowl come up firing here. As they hurry up to the line, there is no delay here. They're just fired up, ready to go. Brown back in the game after taking the last set of downs off on an injury. There's the snap overhead. Brown has to go back for it. It's on the ground. She does fall on it back at her 11-yard line.
Well, he thought they had the snaps figured out. Got one quick snap earlier that went through cleanly, and they're back to those bad snaps over the head of Brown, and Detroit goes backwards here.
Yeah, Brown had to hurry up.
It's tough when you're chasing the ball behind you all the time.
Boy, that's for sure. And, it's tough for a quarterback. You're not getting any consistent snaps. You don't know if the ball is going to be over your head or you got to jump in again. Brown is a very tall quarterback. There's a good snap there. Brown rolls to her right. There's a little screen, but a little too high. And down at the behind the line of scrimmage for a loss of one on that screen pass.
Well, a good snap there. Just couldn't get a good play off there. Quick pass on a screen. No gain there. Loss of a few yards. And Detroit going south instead of north here in their end.
So nothing seems to be Sierra Collier. And on that play, and the ball was just a little too high. She couldn't get her feet under. Stromile back in the backfield. There's the snap. Stromile gets the ball up to the guard on the left side, and she gets a couple out to the 11-yard line. It'll bring up fourth down for the Prowl.
Try to go up the middle, stuffed right there in the middle, and it's fourth down situation here. Fourth and ton of yards to go. Bad situation for the Prowl to be in here.
9:40 left on the clock. Fourth and long. And we do mean long for the Prowl. And there's a timeout called.
So they're going to think this over here. It looked like they were going to go for it. Brown was out there ready to take that snap. You've got that wind going to the west, cross field. You got it's a fourth down situation. You need 22 yards. Your odds and possibilities of making it are very slim based on the offense the way they're playing right now.
And
I mean, you're in a tough situation either way.
yeah. And Kelly Bernaden, who was their kicker, and she was hurt the first home game, so they really didn't use her as a punter at all because of her injury. I believe she may have punted once last week. She had come in to punt last down. They had a fake. So this is going to be interesting to see. Fourth down, they're backed up to their 11-yard line, and is Bernaden, is she able to kick? Is the question. And I see Gorsica trotting out onto the field now. Oh no, I'm sorry, it's Lurie Brown. My bad. Don't get Lurie Brown, number 16.
So we'll see the situation here. Last time they faked it, they've got Brown out on the field. Is she in the? Looks like she's going to take a regular snap here.
Yeah.
She, over the center's had enough of those shotgun snaps over her head.
Everyone lined up for the Carolina Tigers, and off the left side, and Bugs gets approximately about 6 yards, but nonetheless, there's a turnover on downs, and Carolina, another great field position-wise, at the Prowl 18-yard line.
Well, it was just a quick handoff. It had a big hole there. The hole closed up quickly, and she just couldn't speed through there enough to get 22 yards. Another tough situation for Detroit's defense to be in. But, it's hard to understand if these offenses can get things clicking.
At some time, the defense, especially both players that are playing on both sides of the ball for the Prowl. Patman does that. Stromile does that. A couple players, and that could start to wear on them during the second half of the game if this pattern continues. But nonetheless, we have, again, 9:25 left here to go. Davis in the shotgun. Hands to Mackenzie. No, she pulls it down, calls her own number, tries to spin off the right side. She drops the ball. It's on the ground, and Carolina does retain possession.
Well, another mix-up on the play. She fumbled the ball, recovered her own fumble, and another big break for the Carolina Tigers here. Carolina Tigers have 16 players here. They're sort of short-handed here, but that's their roster. They got some injuries, and both teams have injuries, but definitely Detroit Prowl has a lot of personnel on the sideline.
Yeah, plus you're looking at the travel aspect, too, on Carolina, so we're going to see here which team has the endurance. Davis a shotgun again, flanked by Venus and Mackenzie Richards. Venus gets the ball. She goes inside, met there. There's a flag on the play, though.
I think that's going to be a holding call possibly there. Good defensive play there by Detroit. Just bottled up the middle of that field there. Big 97 for Detroit.
And as you called it, Frank, a hold.
Griswold 97 for Detroit. She just gobbled up that Tigers player on that run, threw her down to the turf, and they're going to take the penalty on this play.
And a timeout now called by Carolina. So I'm sure Coach Littlejohn is going to say a few things. Their offensive running back coach, wide receiver coach, and everybody in the coaching staff is going to say a few words that, hey, are you watching the playbook from the Prowl? Because you're going backwards also. What's going on here? Somebody going to go forwards with the ball on offense tonight.
It's a weird situation that you'd say, are both teams that stellar defense or just the both teams' offense fluttering that much? So it's a little bit of both, but, offensively both teams are bringing their game on the field. They're fumbling. They're recovering their fumbles. Sometimes they lose a fumble, and then the other team takes over, and they can't do anything offensively. So it's a tough situation. Both teams offensively are not able to put anything together here.
Yeah, and those are the things that it's just really, maybe simplify the offense, and it's easy, again, as we spoke about being armchair quarterbacks from up here in the booth. Both these coaches know their personnel, and the players have to execute. That's the bottom line, and at this point, neither offense for either team is executing. And so back again, Davis in the shotgun for Carolina. It's second down and 18 to go, flanked by Phillips and Venus, and there's another penalty. There's a long ball over the Moking, but it's going to be called flag down as we have
Looks like another holding
legal,
call.
legal procedure on the Prowl.
Oh, yep. That one's against
yeah, on the Prowl. So
they get 5 yards instead.
Offsides of Prowl, second down, and I'm so used to calling the penalties on the offense, I'm getting my illegal procedures and offsides mixed up now, Frank. But nonetheless, the offsides on the Prowl, sticks moved forward, and the same formation again that the Tigers show. Two-back split of Davis. Inside handoff, little hole there, big defensive play, and got back to the original line of scrimmage, it looks like, which is a 22-yard line of, maybe not, 23-yard line of, or I'm sorry, the 17-yard line of the Prowl. So it'll be another third and long here, Frank.
Well, quick handoff, nice design play there. Just couldn't pop it to the outside. She hit a hole and a possibility of making a big play there, just couldn't close it to the outside.
So they like to do those inside runs the Tigers do between the both backs. Davis with a little word for Raven Venus. 7:40 here left to go here in the second quarter. Third down. There's the snap. Looking long. Steps up. Davis doesn't find anybody. Pulls it down. Is met there by two Prowl defenders, and she'll go down at the 16-yard line. And Patman and Chanel on the stop for the Prowl.
Another fourth down situation here. This one will be for the Tigers on fourth down.
So safety playing far back in the end zone for the Prowl. One back split, one back to the left of Davis. She claps, she gets the ball. She's looking long to the right. She throws it into a crowd, and it's knocked down there, and Prowl will get the ball on downs.
Well, big opportunity, good defensive play by the Prowl, getting in front of that pass by the Tigers and breaking that one up. Would have been nice to squeeze that ball, but they get the ball and turn over anyway.
Yeah, there was nothing there. Very good defensive play by the backs of the Prowl. Curse back in on that play also, and just as you mentioned, Frank, nowhere to go with that ball. Just heave-ho and hope for the best on that play.
So we'll see what Detroit's offense has here. I don't know if it's Brown leading the team here. Looks like she's out there.
So Ray Brown in the shotgun.
Going back to the shotgun
There's
here, Tommy.
Yeah, some motion over the head. Oh, and luckily,
was that a design play?
Down around the outside to right and taken down. Gotten back to almost the line of scrimmage, but that was a crazy series there.
Pinkett, number 23. I don't know if that was designed for her to be behind the quarterback, knowing that those snaps have been high and over Brown's head, but it worked out to be not too bad. At least you're back at the line of scrimmage.
I wonder if that was the Lombardi play that Coach was talking about, maybe. We have to ask him after the game. Here we go, second down and 11. Brown with the snap, hands back off she runs into a crowd there on the outside, corralled inside the 10, thrown down at the 7, but the refs are going to mark it at the 9-yard line with her forward progress. So 38 on the carry there.
A ton of lost yards right there on that play. A quick, slow developing play there, a handoff going east and west. Just couldn't turn that quarter and get some speed up that sideline.
I think it was Dorina. Yeah, I think it was Dorina Pinkett on that carry.
So she was the same one that got that high snap behind Brown, Pickett.
And we have a timeout called.
Dorina
Is that a
Pinkett.
referee's stoppage on that? Oh, so their Prowl did call a timeout in that.
So here we are
time
again
frame.
in a tough situation. Third down for the Prowl. Third down and long. Third down, you see Coach Vitale talking to the head referee right there, Nicole Randolph. He's getting in his last-minute instructions here, talking to his team. Another tough play to be in. Third and a bazooka field long.
So head coach Maurice Harvey, I'm sure is going to have a couple words along with the associate head coach, offensive coordinator Mike Vitale, and they're going to have a couple words here with the second down, try to get some momentum going here, trying to get some flow, try to cut the penalties out, and at least try to finish this second half off with maybe a 90-yard trot down the field for a touchdown, Frank.
I think this is a third down. Isn't it a third down here?
I see third down on the sticks, so
it's a third down and long.
Stromile in the backfield, in behind LeRae Brown, lined up in the shotgun. Motion to the left at Tebow. Now the low. Stromile gets met there and smacked. And there was a low snap. Brown gave her Stromile a suicide handoff there, who really did not appreciate that because she got smacked down at the 1 yard line, and she definitely showed her emotions there. And
Stromile just got plastered there. Another horrible situation to be in offensively on a fourth down situation here for Detroit.
Backed up inside your own 5 yard line, and nothing left here but to possibly call your own number. What do you do here? Brown looking. Brown going back to throw. Brown to Stromile. Stromile, a nice move inside. Stromile has some move. Another inside move. Stromile cuts on the other inside. She's got some running room. Stromile for the first down more. She can be one defender. She's got Greenfield, and she's hog-tied, tackled, and there's a play for a horse collar. I'm sure it's going to be, but not before Stromile gets out to the 37-yard line in a beautiful run.
Beautiful play by Detroit Prowl. Finally, something clicks for their offense there on a do-or-die situation on the 1 yard line, a fourth down, and what a beautiful pass. Just a easy little screen pass. Stromile just took it, did some dipsy-doodle moves, and we got a first down.
Boy, oh boy, and that really must have, last time she got smacked, really fired her up, and that's what she can provide to this offense. She is a dynamic runner who can make some moves, has some speed, and, 15 yards is added on. I originally thought it was a horse collar, but it was a face mask.
It was a flea collar.
It was whatever it was, it's going to get you 15 yards going in the right direction.
Well, Detroit's finally got this crowd into it. They're a little bit pumped up, too, so we'll see what they got offensively now.
This brings them in the Carolina Tigers zone for the first time. Stromile, late handoff there, but she gets a hold of it. Stromile again for another big run. Out to the 30, to the 20-yard line. That wasn't Stromile. I'm sorry. That was number 28, who is Roland Boots Edwards.
Two big plays by Detroit Prowl offensively, and things all of a sudden are clicking here for Detroit.
They line up quick, feeling some flow going here. Brown skirts out. There's it. Back again to Edwards. Again, there's a hole there. Another step inside. There's a flag on the play, but she's got some green in front of her and rolls down to the 2 yard line, but there is a flag on the play.
Another big run there. Let's see what this penalty. Hopefully Detroit didn't shoot themselves, and they did. So a holding against Detroit. Three big offensive plays by Detroit. This one nullified because of the holding, but I like the way they're playing the ball right now. Definitely has fired up this Detroit offense here late in the second quarter.
Well, another big run, but again, they find themselves a big play negated by a penalty. And it's just that's been the course. So hopefully they can get through this now. A couple good runs, a pass, or whatever they need to do to keep this flow going forward. And there's a fumble, but picked up in the backfield. Stromile does, and she'll get about 4 on that.
Well, she made a play out of nothing there. It could have been a lot worse. Another low snap there on the shotgun, and she got 4 or 5 yards out of that after that 15-yard penalty. So not a terrible situation to be in, but Detroit definitely has to keep things together here late in the second quarter.
So we have Patman and Jasmine Hamilton in the backfield. Brown pulls Hamilton where to go. She's looking to the sideline. She gets her composure back. Hebel in motion. There's the snap. There's Patman. Off the left side again. Has another hole around the outside to the 20. Patman bounce off 1, off 2, and inside the 10-yard line to the 9, out of bounds. First down for the Prowl.
Well, Detroit's starting to work the outside there, outside the line, along the sidelines, getting some big plays. Coach Vitale, he's fired up. He likes what he sees. No flags on that play, so big opportunity here for the Prowl to capitalize.
2-minute warning here before the half.
17 yards gain for Buck. Gets inside the 15-yard line, make it to 13. First down, the Prowl.
So now back into the red zone for the Detroit Prowl. Suddenly things are clicking offensively for Detroit. We've been waiting for this for a few games, and this is a beautiful-looking drive so far the Prowl have put together.
So there's 2 minutes on the clock here for a stoppage in play before the half, and go grab your favorite beverage, eh, Frank?
So Detroit's in a situation now, the Prowl, that they need to capitalize on this. Late in the second quarter, you want to get something in the end zone here. You want to go at halftime with the lead. They've got 2 minutes to do this. They've been working this field all the way from the 1, all the way down here inside the 20 on the Tigers side.
So we're looking at the timeout count. I believe that the Prowl do not have any timeout stuff at this point, so they're going to have to make some really good play decisions here. No one messing around, no late calls in from the sidelines. They're going to have to get back up to that line of scrimmage quickly, so you may want to call a couple plays in the huddle here if you're Coach Vitale, maybe even a third one, depending on how the offense can execute the first two. But you definitely have to be prepared, as you mentioned, Frank, because time is not going to be on your side with that clock running.
Well, definitely, if they're going to play out of the shotgun, they've got a 50% chance that snap's going to be good the way it's been going today.
Yeah,
if you're an odds maker, you're at 50% on the snaps. We'll see what they have lined up here. Brown looks like she's going to be in the shotgun again.
So Brown looking from the shotgun. Edwards, or is that Patman in the backfield? Looks like Edwards, and someone jumped. It may have been Prowl or clapping as if it was the defensive line for Carolina.
Well, Detroit will definitely take the 5 yards if it's against the Tigers here, and it is.
Onside against the Carolina Tigers. Another 5 yards for the Prowl.
So now we have first down and 7.
Good situation to be in for the Prowl. They just need to capitalize on this situation here.
First down and 5 from the 7. Sorry about that. There's the snap. Brown pulls it down. There's a fumble. Brown is the first one there, and she jumps on it. And
Brown covers the
looked like it was a clean snap there. Just the handoff didn't come off clean. Ball was dropped right there. Luckily, Detroit recovers their own fumble, or this could have went south real quick.
boy, avoided what would have been a what could have been, but the bottom line, it still is. So
Less than 2 on the play.
now, 2nd down and 12. They still can get a first down. They have to get to the own 3-yard line. And a drop ball again, but she gets the handoff off Patman up the middle. Stiffs arm still rolls forward, gets to about the 5.5-yard line. And luckily, averted disaster there is nothing is clean, but they still keep moving those chains forward, Frank.
A good push by the offensive line, getting some extra yards there. Could have been a lot worse here, but Detroit still struggling here to get that ball in the end zone.
So we have a 3rd down and 5. There's a snap. Brown has a big opening up the middle, and she trots in. Touchdown, Brown.
Big score there. Nobody touched her. She went right in like it was nothing, like she's been doing that for years. And that's going to give Detroit offense a lot of confidence here with that late score here with 50 seconds left to go here in the second quarter. Detroit definitely wants to take it in at halftime with a lead.
Big score for the Prowl, who have been searching now for almost 6 quarters for points, and finally, they've got some points on the board. And we will see how this catapults them.
So it looks like they're going to go for the extra point on the kick.
Kelly Braden.
That one's good.
Shows that she can kick back from the IR, and 7-0. The Prowl take the lead here with 50 seconds to go before the half.
Well, that's what we've been looking for all season here on these home games. Detroit to put together a good offensive drive, and that was a beautiful offensive drive. Even when they had to stop themselves a few times, they did capitalize on that big time, and this is going to give them some confidence going into halftime here if they can hold off the Tigers.
And good to see. And I tell you, when you score points, it can really bring a lot of people together after going through that long drought of no points on that scoreboard. All of a sudden, everyone's friends again. They're all happy, got something to celebrate, tapping each other on the helmets and encouraging each other. And
well, the biggest thing is your quarterback now has confidence and is pumped up to do this.
Yeah, and that's going to be another thing is the backup quarterback, Lurie Brown, how it really will instill some confidence in her. And here is the kick, and it's a good one. And it backs up all the way to the 20. Will it roll out of bounds? And it does. So it does roll out of bounds. It looks like Carolina Tigers will take the ball at the 35-yard line, if I'm not mistaken. I believe that is the rules here in women's professional football, the AWFL rule. So I don't know if it's going to be at the 25. I'm sure it's at the 35. So they'll take over 1st and 10 with 50 seconds here to go on the clock before half.
So, yeah, they'll start off at the 35 on that flag, that kickoff going outside, out of bounds. So they will automatically start at the 35 on 1st down here with 50 seconds left to go here in the second quarter. Detroit definitely, their defense needs to stand up here. They can't give up anything late here point-wise and take this to halftime, a 7-0 lead.
So it's going to be curious to see if the Tigers are going to try to put some points, get close, maybe try a couple plays long. And if that's the case, if they're going to put it in the air, this is an ideal time for a nice pick six here for the Prowl. Davis can throw the ball. Lines up in the shotgun. There's the snap, and she's looking. She's pressured from the left. She spins off that. She's still looking, pulls the ball down, runs across the field towards us, is met there in the backfield, still spins off a tackle, has her legs going, runs back into the pile, and finally gets about 4 on that after being brought down and chewed up about 20 seconds on the clock.
Well, she ran about 45 yards, but only gained 4, going east and west and back and forth and bouncing off of players. Enough to chew up some of that clock and that time down the, as that clock is still going here on 2nd down.
Yeah, so Thomas on that stop there really just had to stay in her position and watch Davis run right back into her. But Davis again with time winding down. This will be the last play before the half, and she's going long, heaves it up. And incomplete to end the half. So, the Prowl strike here in the first half with a touchdown, and will go to the locker room with a 7-0 lead. Join us for wonderful second half action here in AWFL football from Allen Park, Michigan. Mark Eglin, grab your favorite beverage, grab your soda, and come on back. Enjoy Frank Mazzella for his analysis going into the second half. Friends and family, we welcome you back here to Mark Eglin Field here from Allen Park, Michigan, the AWFL on Go Live Sportscast. And again, the Detroit Prowl here versus Carolina Tigers take a 7-0 lead into the third quarter. And we do have an injury update, Frank. You talked with Coach Vitale on Miss Pritchett.
Yeah, I got down there, had to chase Mike Vitale down. He was outrunning me to the locker room. But I picked up the speed and caught up with him. I asked how Rocky Pritchett is doing. Says she has a neck injury, and she's moving her hands and legs and arms and everything. It's just taken off for precaution reasons. So that's good news, and we wish her well and a speedy recovery. So that's good news for the everybody that's watching and listening, and we'll go from there. So.
Yeah, and speaking of, going from there again, Frank, as you mentioned, we're glad that she's okay. She will be okay. And for the first time in a few quarters, the Prowl put some points on the board.
Yeah, I'm still watching that replay of that offensive drive because we haven't gotten many of those. And it looks so outstanding because it happened so cleanly. Well, not so cleanly. There were some backups and this and that. But it happened. It happened. It was a long drive. And they put it together. They need to keep that going. They need to put several of those drives together. I mean, they don't get the ball here, they're going to kick it off to start the second half. But once they do get that ball again, they're going to have to put it together.
And we'll see in just a moment here how the Prowl would react. And I would think you'd have to agree, Frank, that thus far the Prowl, bright side for the Prowl this season has been, even after last week's performance, has been their defense.
Absolutely. Their defense has kept them in these games. Even losing, to Lansing getting shut out. They were still in that game in the fourth quarter. They just couldn't make anything offensively happen to get back into it.
And they're still going to have to be careful. There is a couple weapons on this Carolina team who will get the ball first in the second half. And their quarterback, Erica Davis, has just not been able to hit their top wide receiver, Mo King. And that's, again, attributed by the good defense of the Prowl. But we're ready to see what happens in the second half here. We welcome you back to Go Live Sportscast. Here it goes. Misses a short person. She's fumble laying on the ground. There had to be careful with a Prowl defender all over her, but regained her composure, and the Tigers will take 1st and 10 from their own 31-yard line.
Wow, a slow developing kickoff there where the ball just went off the receiver's hands and she just stood there, and opportunity for Detroit. They were coming in hard, just couldn't recover that fumble, and Carolina Tigers will start with the ball.
One of those things I got it, you take it. And it almost bit them in the Tiger rear end. So nonetheless, though, they have 1st and 10 on their own 31. We'll see if there's any different kind of formations that the Tigers will try to fool the Prowl defense. They had a lot of good, quite a bit of good field position in the first half, but the stringent defense of the Prowl thwarted any effort they attempted to pierce that goal line. And again, Erica Davis back, and there's a
laundry's flying start already here.
Boy, oh boy. And automatically they must have used some bounce fabric sheet softeners on that. We smell the fresh of ocean breeze all the way up here with that first flag being thrown.
They refresh their flags during
Yes.
halftime.
We asked them to keep them in their pockets, but apparently not. So here we go as they're backed up 5 yards, first and 15 here, the first drive of the second half for the Tigers. Two-back split. There's McKenzie. She was dangerous. She's been in the backfield. She still bounces out, cuts it back inside, and is tackled behind the line of scrimmage for a loss on the play.
Big, huge push by the defensive line to get into that backfield, mess things up for the Tigers offense there, and a loss of a few yards for the Tigers, and all of a sudden it's second and long.
And Bug Patman all over the field, offensively and defensively, for the Prowl. Makes a stop. Second down. And a good.
Number 97, Griswold, has been playing a heck of a game on the defensive line for the Detroit Prowl.
So there's the cadence in the shotgun. McKenzie and Venus on either side of Davis. Davis overlooks. There's the snap. Pitches at fake pitch. She'll call her own number. Back up the middle. There's a flag on the play. She's pushed back, and there's a loss of yard on the play. We'll see where the flag was. Mostly inside. Probably a hold or something, Frank? Inside.
Possibly a hold there. Could have been on Detroit. Not sure here. Yep.
And holding on the Tigers will push them back another chunk of yardage.
So as we were talking, Big 97 made the stop on that play, but somebody was held. I don't know if it was her exactly, but Detroit keeps pushing the Tigers back. And another second and long if they look like they will take that penalty.
So the Tigers with the timeout, and again, the head coach, James Littleton, I'm sure having some words with the offense. They were having some issues as they had the first half. Penalties are moving them backwards. They can't get any flow on offense. And they're backed up now, second down and long with a good chunk of yardage, and could be a big offensive, if the Prowl hold here, gaining good field position. A good offensive opportunity for the Prowl if this continues.
Well, when these two teams met earlier in Carolina, of course, the Tigers won that game 13-6, another low-scoring event there game, and we're on to that again here today. These two teams are like pretty equal on their offensive and defense. So it's been a tight game. Both teams 2-3, like I said at the beginning of the game. One team wants to go out of here 3-3. One team's going to go out of here 2-4. So playoffs coming in 2 weeks. They want to get the best position they can.
Yeah, and you're going to have to really get into some kind of rhythm, some kind of flow, find your team identity. I believe both these teams are still this is a game to find out your identity of your team. So they stay away now from the shotgun, I formation, Davis up under center. Second and quite a bit of yardage. There's the pitch, and that's an ill-advised pitch on the bounce. McKenzie has to pick it up back at her own 3. She'll just drop down to the 2-yard line, and another huge mistake by the Tigers.
Well, the pitch, it was a one bouncer there. Took a Carolina Tigers bounce right into the running back's hands, and she's limps off quickly, and suddenly the Tigers are going backwards here. Good play by the Detroit team to keep the pressure on the Tigers.
So third, and I don't want to say an impossible, Frank, but
we've seen that earlier.
Yeah, the Prowl pulled off a similar situation here, but you don't want to get caught defensively here, do you, Frank? I mean, you put all your backs back, let them break but don't bend.
Absolutely, you can't let the big play happen here. I mean, it's got to be. Let's see, it's close to 30 yards
37 yards, yeah.
37, so excellent situation for the Prowl to be in here.
Well, hopefully you get some penetration from the defensive line, stuff them in the background here to bring it up fourth down, and hopefully Davis squeezes that ball a little tight. It'll come out of her hands here, but we're going to find out. Davis up. And they're trying to. There's a clap. There's a shotgun. It's up in the air, bobbled. It bounces around the goal line. recovered.
Looks like we got a
It's
safety.
in the end zone. Whoever gets the ball, they're still trying to figure it out.
Nobody's calling
And
for a
it
safety
just
yet.
looks like it was just outside the I saw one ref inside the post walking along the line, but no, the ball is marked on the 1.5 yard line, and the Tigers avoid a disastrous situation right there. Nonetheless, Frank, it brings out 4th down and long for the Tigers.
How did that get back out on the playing field and out of the end zone? Number 97 coming through there again like a mad hound dog. And here we go, 4th down.
So now Davis lines up in the shotgun. 4 receivers split on either side of her. Tight end off the line. 5 total. She's looking around. She's met in the backfield. Escapes one. Scampers out to the 5 yard line and down at the approximately 7. But a turnover on downs, and the Prowl will get the ball in fantastic field position.
Well, that defense stood up again, and here's a big opportunity for Detroit. If they play the way they did late in that second quarter with their offense, they can take a big lead here in this game, take a 13-0, punch this in for 6. But we'll see. Detroit has had their problems on their shotgun snaps.
And that will be the big deal. The big deal is I'm going to be on these snaps here, and as Lurie Brown goes from the shotgun, 1st down and goal from the 7. One back in behind Brown. They've been running off the left side a lot. There's a low snap off the left side. They're back up the middle. There's spins off 1, 2. Edwards is trying to spin, I believe. Pinkett, and she gets down to the 2. So
Good.
Pinkett, good hard run.
Good hard run there, a little ground and pound. Low snap. She grabbed that off the ground. Brown luckily got that handoff off.
No consistent snaps, but been fortunate that Brown has been able to hand this ball off. Last time she called her own numbers. Brown, ball on the ground again. She has to scramble to the outside. She's still looking for a hole. Brown's still moving her feet, but she's met back at the, might have been able to get back to the original line of scrimmage. So 3rd down and very short. They get inside the 2 yard line. That's where the 1st down chain is. There's a timeout, injury timeout on the play. Carolina Tigers shaken up.
So here's another
And there's a
opportunity for
Prowl too
Detroit.
shaken up. 2 players on the play shaken up. Go ahead, Frank. I'm sorry.
Both teams have players down right now. Big opportunity for Detroit to punch this in. They need to punch this in. They need a little separation from the Tigers here. Here in the early going of the 3rd quarter. Sort of another one of those fall day feels here in Allen Park. Brisk wind out of the west. Coach Vitale's got to like what he sees so far here late in the 2nd quarter, beginning of the 3rd quarter here.
And that's going to be, as you mentioned, Frank, a little cushion here. If the Prowl can punch this in here, and it could, be a lot going forward in this game. That is one of these identity games going into the playoffs, just around the corner. Find your team identity.
Well, absolutely. It's like, all of a sudden you got some momentum. You go into the playoffs with a win. You're starting to put things together. You're putting things together offensively. You know where your defense stands. You got a new quarterback here, a backup quarterback that's finally getting some reps in and getting to play and getting confidence. So, things are going your way momentum-wise.
So Brown will line up under the ball. She calls her own number, pushed into the end zone. Touchdown, Brown. Prowl.
So there you go. Detroit punches it in. Brown is fired up. We'll see if we heard she had some kind of dessert on the sideline when she comes over.
Last time it was told that she had a pickle after the first touchdown. And now she's just taking a picture for her second touchdown of the game, calling her agent. And as you see, she's smiling. We're waiting it, maybe calling mom and who's watching on Go Live Sportscast. But
here we go for the extra point.
Bernaden in for the extra point. Punches that through. Good kick. And just like that, 14-0 here with 9:33 left to go in the second quarter and a 14-point lead for the Prowl.
Well, suddenly Detroit is putting things together here, starting late in the second quarter, beginning of the third quarter, and they've got that 14-0 lead. That you can see the team's got a lot of confidence right now going for them.
Break out the Lurie Brown snacks. Break them out. Pass them out to the team, whatever it is.
I think we're going to give her a nickname of Snacks.
Snacks Brown.
Yep, Snacks Brown, number 16.
And finally, a little breathing room in these games that we have done with the Prowl. We'll see if the defense can not get lackadaisical, not get too relaxed, keep their stellar play on the field. And Carolina, on the other hand, they have to come back out firing here.
Well, it's put the Tigers a little swift kick there.
Picked up, taking a look, round to the left side, met there and converged on by several. The ball is on the ground, but they may have ruled her down, and that would be at the 42-yard line.
Well, Detroit's coming out flying right now, whether it's special teams, defense, or offense. This whole Detroit team is fired up.
You hear them yelling and screaming in joy, and that's what points on the board. That's what defensive play. That's exactly what they needed, and get some more camaraderie on this team. And sure enough, when you score points and you win, that builds that. It's a perfect adrenaline boost. It beats the full throttle of the Monster Energies, even though we would like to thank Monster Energy for anything they want to participate to future events here on Go Live Sportscast.
So now Detroit, they're going to have to stop them here right from the 41-yard line of the Tigers. Tigers are sort of put in a pressure situation here. They need to get something going to keep in this game.
So now we have three backs. Sort of like a shotgun a T formation. Shotgun T.
T-bone.
Yeah, the shotgun T formation. A new wrangle in the Carolina offense. Let's see how this works. They had penalties bite them before. Given to one back. She follows it. That's Richards. She bounces down to one knee and gets back to the line of scrimmage. May have gained one on the play.
Well, at some point, probably the Tigers are going to have to go to the air to get some big chunks because this D-line of Detroit, they close it up pretty quick. You're going to have to get some big chunks somewhere. You know, these 1 or 2 yards or lost yards aren't going to help the Tigers if they want to get back in this game.
Yeah, we don't know if that's going to be if that is Richards hobbled off the field their last set of downs. I don't know if that's a cramp or if she was, maybe a knee issue, but she had that carry and is now down on the field. They tried carrying her a little bit, so there's a leg issue with her, and it could be just a cramp, but we hope that's what the case is at this point. But nonetheless, Frank, the Prowl up 14 points at this point. 9:01 left to go here in the third.
So it's got to start taking effect on the Carolina Tigers injuries. Late in the game, they've short-staffed, short roster on their team. About 16 players they come in here. As later the game goes, the more injuries happen, the more fatigue sits in, and it's a tough situation to be in. Being on the road already, down by 14. I'm not saying it's impossible, but you're in a tough situation. You got to make things happen right away. You got to strike. You got to make some big yards, and that's what Carolina needs to do if they want to get back in this game. On the other hand, the Detroit Prowl, they're playing a good game here ever since late in that second quarter, coming out here in the third quarter. Solid defensively and solid offensively, putting these together, 2 touchdowns and holding off the Tigers.
So Richards is shaking that leg cramp off, or hopefully that's what it is, but she is walking off the field. And again, as you mentioned it, Frank, one of the things here is when you do get fatigued, people, it's a mental thing. You're kind of like in a fog where you don't realize that your legs are weak, but you go to make a cut and you're being so loosey-goosey, you're not paying attention that it's easier to twist something or to pull something or to just being mentally fatigued.
Well, when you overexert yourself, you're trying too hard. You're working your body too much and not just naturally. So that's when injuries happen.
Now, Carolina comes back out in that same shotgun T formation. One of their big runner, though, Mackenzie Richards, out on the sidelines. And so they do have Venus in the backfield, who's carried the ball quite a bit for them. We'll see if they call her number. And there's a late handoff, but around the outside, it's Mo King. King with it. King up to the sticks on the sideline, but down at the 43-yard line, and she'll be lucky to get another yard, and that'll bring up third down in about 8.
Good pursuit by Detroit, following her east and west. She tried to bump it to the outside and cut in. Detroit couldn't let her cut in, didn't let her cut in. And gained maybe 1-2 yards. Still a long situation here for the Tigers to get a first down.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Frank, great pursuit by the line, and they didn't back up. They held their gaps close, and Curse followed King right to the sidelines to make that tackle. So great pursuit. Defense playing stellar, and they'll bring up third down and long. Carolina desperately needs a first down here in this possession with 7:45 rolling left in the third quarter and them being down by 14 points. The same formation here, 3 in the backfield. Davis in the shotgun. There's a handoff to Venus. Venus cuts it back inside. She's got a little room. She tries to bowl over one player. She could have pushed that to the outside, but nonetheless, she only gains 4 yards, and that'll be fourth down now and 6.
Looked like she was going to break it right up the middle. Suddenly closed up, and Detroit stopped it. They're going to go for it here on fourth down. They need to go for it here about the midpoint of the third quarter, get back in this game at their own 45.
Same formation again. Only a tight end, no receivers, 3 backs. And that might have taken too long, and it's a good timeout, Carolina. And that was a good thing because Mo King was met right in the backfield. She would have been thrown for a loss. So Carolina just with a timeout just before that snap.
Well, it looks like Carolina wanted to talk things over there on a fourth down situation because this game could get out of hand if they don't convert on this fourth down and Detroit gets that ball the way Detroit's offense is rolling right now late in the game. And that could put it out of hand. So that's a good situation to take a timeout for the Tigers, talk things over exactly what they want to do and execute it.
And this timeout is an ideal situation for you to run to the phone right now and call Dell's Pizza in downtown Trenton on Jefferson Avenue.
Hold on. We're close for remodeling right now.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I was craving one. Where am I going to what? Don't tell me that.
They'll be open again in mid-June.
Oh, well, that's good news for the people of downtown Trenton.
Yeah, but it's always great to wait for something that you really desire and it's really good. What is that old saying is waiting is
well, waiting you have no choice is a new saying. So, but back to the action here. And again, that same formation, 3 backs here, fourth down and 6. They must convert. Mo King up the middle, scampers for about 4, but that's all she's going to get before being pushed backwards, maybe 3, and a turnover on downs. Prowl will take over, good field position in the Carolina territory at the 48-yard line.
Well, it looked like the Tigers were going to get that first down, and Detroit bent, but they didn't break and came up about 3 or 4 yards short. Big turnover at the 48 of the Tigers, and we'll see what Detroit comes out with here with a lot of confidence on the offensive side.
So a good opportunity to sort of put this game out of reach with the depleted Carolina bench here. If they can put some points on the board, a third score would be absolutely huge if they can convert here. And late substitution in for the Prowl. Brown mentioning to Lexi Bryant where she wants her. Got to split out. Hebel in motion. There's a snap. Around the outside, Pinkett looking, but she's only to the sticks, and that is it before she's hammered out of bounds.
So now they got the running back, halfback behind Brown, just in case that acts as two things, a handoff and a bad snap over the head of Brown. You're multi-protected there, and nothing much happening there. Just bumped it to the outside, back to the line of scrimmage, and we got 2nd and 10.
So you mentioned earlier, Frank, about how they're getting some flow going, and again, I'm liking it. No penalties in quite a while here. I don't want to kind of put that onus on them right now, as there is a timeout on the field. But they seem to be getting some momentum. They haven't had a turnover in a while. They haven't had any penalties to back them up, and hopefully that'll be the continuation for the Prowl.
See Coach Vitale talking to his team right now.
He's got that electronic scoreboard, or electronic
He's got
whiteboard
the beats
there. Yeah, and Snacks Brown maybe with the pickle snacks.
Snacks are good all the time there, Tommy.
And I kind of want one right now, actually. So fried pickles, but.
You ever get those old eggs in the jar at an old bar?
Oh, the pickled eggs?
Yeah, from
I
like
haven't had one in a while, but I
1972.
used to. Yeah, they are just delicious.
No, they're not really old. They're just aged for flavor.
Yeah. It's, right next to the old Red Hots, as Jeff Chase, the MC announcer here, pointed out. And I don't know if they still have those at the drugstores around here. We're going to have to find out. But we don't want to age ourselves in a booth here. If you had
Too late.
Too late is correct. So back to the action here. Hebel in motion. There's a little jump, and we just put the onus on that one.
Oh, you
now
talked
there's a
too
flag.
soon there, Tommy.
A little bit.
Talk about clean football. That ain't going to happen.
Procedure motions on the Prowl, and that'll back them up 5.
Put the Morris curse on them.
Oh, boy. I'm going to hear it by Coach. He's going to call Coach Vitale. So there's a snap. Brown corrals it. Bounces it to Stromile. Stromile has to look. She pounces it back inside. Layla moves her legs. Still moving. A good gain there, and rolls forward to about the 30 to about the 44-yard line, and shortens up that first down, where it'll be about 6 to get that first down.
Stromile, she just kept on pumping those legs. Looks like it was going to be a loss, and she made something out of nothing. She's got this team fired up right now.
Hurry up for the Prowl. Motion. Back to Stromile. She loses it. Gains her composure. She'll go around the other side. Still corralled. Back, spins off. Still spinning. Still moving. She's still up, and finally, maybe with a good effort, gets back to the line of scrimmage. Not before it brings 4th down, though.
Well, that was a handoff that fumbled. Luckily, the Prowl recovered that fumble and didn't lose too much. In fact, gained maybe 1 or 2 yards. So Detroit holds on to that ball.
I'm noticing a couple, and she's a dynamic runner, a little smaller in stature, but when that hit in the backfield happens, she tended to be looking up the field before she had the ball in her hands, and that can end up happening if you're taking a lot of hits out there. Don't have confidence in your quarterback. Here's the handoff up the middle. Patman almost she spins for a couple, and there'll be a turnover on downs, and the Tigers will take over from their own 44-yard line.
So the Tigers get that ball back. Here, defense comes on for the Prowl. They're going to have to stand up here again here. Late in the third quarter, 4:27 left to go. We'll see if the Carolina Tigers, they haven't been able to hit any of their passes on the passing game. As watching them before game time, they were hitting passes, but of course they didn't have the Detroit defense out there playing against them.
Yeah, the backs for the Prowl have really taken away that passing game. When there has been a receiver open, which was, boy, we haven't seen that early since the first quarter. It has been usually number 88, Mo King, and the ball was overthrown to her or underthrown to her. So we'll see what happens as they have, again, this T shotgun lineup here. 3 backs, no receivers, just tight end. Split tight end, and here it's handoff again, right to the right side of that defense for a gain of about 6, maybe 5.
Just a quick handoff, got about 6 yards, 5 yards. Little open side on the right side of that offensive line. Good situation to be in offensively, second and probably about 5.
So Richards back in. Here's Mo King up the middle, keeps moving. There's a flag on the play. She rolls out past the first down marker. But we'll see who this is going to be against.
It was a late flag on the far side of the field, right in front of the play there. Not sure exactly what happened there. I don't want to make a prediction on what the call is.
I thought maybe, I don't think she got hit by a face mask or a hole in that area, but it was kind of a holding on offense. So
that play comes back after they made an opportunity there. Almost got the first down. They're going to go backwards here.
So good news for the Prowl. Instead of short yardage situation, it'll make it 2nd and long. And now every down for Carolina now, it seems they have a player that's shaken up, Frank, and again with that depleted bench and travel.
It takes a toll late here in the game here. Short bench, injuries, fatigue, all of it. It's a breakdown that you can't really stop. And you just got to keep playing on. You need to suck it up. But let's talk about number 97 on Detroit. She's playing a heck of a game. Octavia Griswold, she just clogs up that whole middle of the line. Big 9-7 right there. You see her playing a heck of a game on the defensive line for Detroit.
And when you could put her in different spots where you feel that, either side of that ball, where the ball is spotted, again, it forces, as you mentioned, Frank, that offense that, try to run around her somewhere, and which is a daunting task as the Carolina Tigers are finding that out now. 2nd down and 12 here. Davis under center, off to Ava King. She's corralled in the backfield and maybe gained a yard on that, but it'll be 3rd down and approximately 11.
So that was number 97. After I mentioned her name, just grabbed her from behind and pulled her down. No gain there, and Detroit flexes its muscles again. Right on the D-line.
We hear the coaches now. They changed the formation, not too much, but they're just putting Davis up under the ball now. Big 3rd down play. Tigers trying to get something in a false start there, and that'll back them up more.
You saw the guard just pull right there, get up before the snap. And this will cost the Tigers a bit here. Looks like it will be against the Tigers. Waiting for it to be official.
Penalties like that, Frank, where you see that guard, pull off early, and that is because of Glover's play. Trying to get out there in front of Glover if that play is rolling to the right and try to, stop her in any situation. And that's just the type of effect that she has been having and getting in the Tigers player's head today.
So a false start by the Tigers, and they go back 5 more yards. Long down situation here for the Carolina Tigers as they haven't put anything together offensively here late in the third quarter.
Nose guard at Glover and a little jump there, and Glover did jump. So they're going to get that 5 yards back. Back to third down in the 11.
So it looks like Griswold jumped the line for Detroit.
Yeah, she's smelling the sack there. She knows she can, as being a nose guard, she's trying to read that. She sees that Davis, the quarterback, is lining up under center. She knows she's got a beat on that nose, being a nose tackle on that, and it's to the outside. And met there, and there's a flag. Maybe another hold as Mackenzie Richards, again.
Curse looks like she came in there and made that tackle.
And another hold, brings it back, takes him back again, but it's declined, and we'll bring up fourth down and 11. A good decision there, I believe, by the coaching staff. You might as well try to force them to do something here and hold them and get field possession in their territory.
So we'll see what the Carolina Tigers come out here with on a do-or-die situation, fourth and long. 2 minutes and 22 seconds and counting going down here as the Detroit crowd is encouraged to get into it here late in the third quarter. On fourth down, here comes the Tigers.
They're feeling it. The fans are feeling it. The Prowl got their fans in the game here. They're feeling the stop here.
More cowbell.
Davis back on the right hash marks, closer to the camera here. 4 receivers split. One in the back, one back in the field. There's a snap. Davis over the middle, and that's knocked down by Patman, and the Prowl will get the ball in wonderful territory, 42-yard line of the Tigers.
Well, they're trying to go down the middle and just couldn't hit that receiver. Opportunity first in a while that the Carolina Tigers have put that in the air in a do-or-die situation there, fourth and long, and Detroit will take over at the 40-yard line of the Tigers.
And now you get an opportunity to beat that defense. Now these players have to play both sides of the ball, and a really good opportunity here is Detroit is not playing around here. They're getting up to the line quick. Hebel in motion. There's the snap. It's low. Brown drops it, but she's following the block as she pulls out. She looks like she wants to throw, but she's just waiting for a receiver, and she does just throw it out of bounds to kill the down. A good decision by Brown there not to take the loss.
You see, Brown's got her swagger now. She feels it out there. She knows what she's doing. She shows a lot of confidence right now, even if she's got to throw it out of bounds.
That's a very good decision, and that's what you want your quarterback to have, that mindset, to be that comfortable spot to make those plays, and just good ball management. Second down and 10. 50 seconds left here to the end of the third quarter. Still directing traffic, looking around, yells out another instruction. There's the cadence, there's the snap, there's the handoff, a little room around the outside. Pickett has some room and hog-tied. Oh, but there's a flag as she was horse-collared. And if she was not, she had 6. But nonetheless, she is shaken up on the play. As
just a simple handoff. She took it to the outside. Almost had enough room to break it, but
and there'll be yardage
clothesline down there. Hog tie, clothesline, whatever you want.
That is a...
Looks like there's not going to be a flag on that one, is there?
Yeah, horse collar, and that'll add a bunch more, 15 yards onto that, on that personal foul. And now the Prowl with wonderful, wonderful opportunity. Great field position here. And a 12-yard line here of the Prowl.
She was only a hand away of breaking that and taking it into the end zone. But they had another 15 on there, and Detroit's on the door banging on it.
So we'll see if they stray away from the run. Stromile in the backfield. Brown looking at the receivers. Hebel in motion. There's an inside handoff to Heel. She'll throw it. She turns around and spins, but maybe a good decision not to touch that ball by Adkins, as she would have been plastered, and no harm, no foul. Just the loss of down, and it'll bring up 2nd and 10.
Well, I like that play. Vitale went to the magic bag, pulled that one out. It's good to see something different in the playbook here. Why not try it? You got a lot of confidence. You got a 14-0 lead. You're going into the fourth quarter, deep in the Tigers' end. Give it a try. Why not?
Yeah, and that is a good point, Frank, on that. Hebel is she's the other backup quarterback. She's a third-string quarterback, and she does have the arm, and that's a teaching situation there where when she got that inside handoff, she automatically just turned around and flung it. She didn't take a look. She was assuming that maybe it was such a trick play that the receiver was open, that Atkins was open there, and maybe next time, the coaching staff will get to her and say, hey, listen, if you just hold on a second, double check. You can run also. We've seen her run with the ball. She can run, but, just don't turn and loft it up assuming that receiver is going to – you're fooling everybody on the opposite side. So, but you do like to see those kind of wrinkles that kind of differentiates from that standard, run left, run right, the wrinkle in the offense there.
Absolutely. The offensive who's calling the plays are changing things up, and that's what you – do like seeing. You like seeing something different here. Not the standard handoff. Let's try a couple different things. Things are going our way. We need to try some different things and open this up a little bit.
And you really can do stuff with plays like that when you stop with the penalties, and we have seen them very quickly. That was a very, very good quarter. I think they only had possibly one penalty on offense, and they've had the ball an awful lot on offense for that third quarter. So hopefully that pattern will continue for the Prowl. They have great field possession here. New quarter, fourth quarter, 14-0. The Prowl up with the ball. Hebel in motion. Brown, hand off to Stromile off the left side. Stromile has a blocker in front of her. Stromile has a flag. Stromile scampers in the end zone. Touchdown, Stromile and Prowl.
What a beautiful move there. Stromile made it all happen there. Good, clean handoff. Big hole in that line. Give credit to that offensive line for blowing open that hole, and suddenly Detroit's got their mojo.
And a big confidence booster. Again, a good scamper by Stromile. And Bernaden on for the extra point. So 14:52 here. Things going all Prowl way right now. There's the snap. The kick is up. And it's good. Add on the point. Up by 21 now. The Prowl.
So that will be the most points offensively for Detroit this season. They have against Miffa. I think it was 20-0 against Miffa.
Yeah.
So this will be their biggest offensive performance with their last game of the season, and they need it. They needed that going into the playoffs. Come out here or wherever they're going to play in their wild card game with some confidence that offense can put some points on the board.
Yeah, and move without shooting themselves in the foot, right? Without any penalties.
Well, we know where the defense stands. It's the offense that needs to come to that point.
So a big set of downs here for the Tigers if they're going to make this a game. Good kick, and King with the reception. King up the right hash marks, up through the middle. King with a burst of speed, bowls her way over to the 48-yard line.
Good return there from the Tigers. Under 15 minutes to go here, 14:43 here in the fourth quarter. Detroit back on the D here. Looking good and stout with that defensive line, bottling things up there, keeping the pressure on. We'll see they can keep that up here for the rest of the fourth quarter.
So we'll see how the Tigers can get some energy here. Very important set of downs. They needed this field possession. Last couple times they backed themselves up in their own territory deep. Davis, again, with the three backs.
Looks like Detroit's bringing the house.
She slides, Davis does, to the right. She just pulls it down, doesn't see anybody. She beats one tackle, can't get past that second tackle. She'll actually lose 2 yards on the play.
Well, Detroit was bringing a blitz there. They brought a lot of players coming up forward. Finally cut the quarterback off on the far side of the field near the sideline and lost a couple yards.
Wind dying down here a little bit. Beautiful evening. Temperatures cooled down, not too bad. Beautiful spring evening here in Allen Park. Allen Park, a beautiful little town nestled just outside the Detroit city limits, home to the Detroit Lions practice facility here, and just outside of
many years ago, they used to say the jewel of downriver.
Ah.
Many years ago.
Yeah, well.
Not saying that it's not a jewel anymore. It just.
I have seen nothing but jewel art, everything here. It's been fantastic hospitality here in Allen Park. There's the clap. There's the snap. There's the pressure, and forced to throw that away out of bounds, and that'll bring up third down. Pressure all over Davis by that front of the Prowl.
Well, all of a sudden, Detroit's running up to the front, putting the pressure, running some blitzes, and why not? You're up 21-0. Let's try some different things defensively.
Yeah, that's that confident swagger now. There's no fear. The Tigers aren't bringing any fear factor to the Prowl at this point. And now there's a flag, and what are we going to get this on? Is that? So that's what we were taking a look at. She didn't get outside, didn't have a receiver out there, threw it out of bounds, and no flag on the play. So they just wanted to refresh the stadium with their clean handkerchiefs, and they decided to put them back in the pockets. And
well, we saw an earlier play by Detroit Prowl sort of like that, and there was no flag. So it's good that they put that flag away for both sides based on it being possibly grounding.
You know, we could joke with the referee staff, but they are doing a stellar job. They do a stellar job in this league, and there's some real professionals here out on that field that have played this game prior. Third down. Handoff inside. Outside, some room to the 30. One person to beat. King to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown, King. Touchdown, Tigers.
Big play by the Carolina Tigers. One play, that's all they needed. Big run to the outside. Nobody there for Detroit Prowl to bring her back home. And suddenly they got 6 points on the board here in the fourth quarter.
King, such a weapon for the Tigers, and that's what you did not want to see, her getting loose, whether it was receiving the ball or receiving the ball on a kick, or just like that, scampering for a long gain from the backfield. So a 50-yard run on there, and just like that, they find themselves back in this ballgame with 12:27 left to go in the fourth. Looks like they will be attempting a two-point conversion, which kind of is, maybe they don't have the kicking game here, Frank, at this point. I'm kind of surprised by this call, but I don't see the kicker on their roster as we're looking it over. So they are forced to go for a two-point conversion here. There's Davis to fake. She's calling her own number. She gets inside. Good for the two-point conversion.
Well, two good plays by the Tigers back-to-back. That long 50-yard run where she turned the corner and turned on the afterburners to score that TD, and then converting on the 2-point play after that, making it 21-8 here with 12:27 to go. Tommy, we got a game.
We do have a game, for sure. Lots of time left. If the Tigers can just hold on this possession defensively, things could get really, really interesting here with 12:27 left on the clock.
Well, we'll see how they play it here, the Tigers. Is this going to be an onside kick possibly?
If they want to try something.
Their kicking game is not there anyways.
Yeah, that's true.
We're assuming, so possible that put some of their skilled ball players up on that front line. The old analogy there that putting your receivers and ball handlers on that kickoff line.
Well, it is going to be very interesting to see what they decide to do. Again,
maybe a squiv kick, look for a fumble recovery.
Yeah, you definitely, I think, would want to put this ball on the ground and make one of these up players, feel that ball and good opportunity to do that. I'm surprised at how far back that Curse and the other backs are set to receive that ball. I'm surprised that Coach has not put them up a little forward, but here's the kick. And there's a squibber, and it did touch the Prowl player's hand. Field at the 48, 49-yard line where the Prowl will take over, 1st and 10.
So they recover that. Just a squiv kick on the ground, looking for some fumbling to happen. Detroit jumps on that one and plays it safe. Number 33, Courtney Powell, getting that kickoff and playing it safe. So Detroit will get the ball back here, trying to chew up some of this clock here in the fourth quarter.
And a good sign already, the offense ready to roll. They're out there set in their formation pretty much. Already know what to do. They've got their rhythm going. They're talking on the sidelines. They already – Brown. Looks like Urbani is also in the backfield to her right. Hebel in motion. To her, she drops back now. Hebel looking around, no one there. She hits Atkins. Atkins just short, but a good attempt there as Hebel on that trick play took the handoff, and that time Frank took a look this time. She just didn't wheel it out there. She actually looked.
I like the way the plays are being called right now offensively. Mike Vitale going to the magic bag right now, pulling out some of these plays. Even though it wasn't converted, you got to like the effort.
Yeah, I like the headiness. I like the decision-making. Just didn't heave it up. At least you're taking a look downfield, feel more comfortable. Hebel in motion again. There's the handoff, a little misplay on there. Brown's forced to run it. She does find some room and slides down after a gain of about 6 yards.
Well, even with that, she got 6 yards. Not a bad situation to be in here on a third down and about a 4-yard needed for the first down. Brown, she's just playing with a lot of confidence right now. Snacks Brown taking this team and leading them.
And again, Coach has a couple players in there trying to get everybody on this offensive scheme. Brown, there's the handoff. Urbani gets a couple on there.
It's all right. You're fourth down inside the 50. You go for it here.
That's right.
You know.
So, and it's good to see that, again, Coach getting Urbani some reps in there, getting her used to the offense. You can't have enough players who used to be on the same team to get some playing time. That's what it's about. Makes you a stronger team, and Stromile will come into the game for Urbani. Stromile with a big run, TD run. Last, this is fourth down. Looking to Stromile. Oh, and a play that's going to be flagged down. Illegal procedure on the Prowl. And
well, that would have been a break open play there. She was wide open over there on the side, just tossed over to her.
And I think sometimes when you get you see you have an opening there. I believe the line girls find, they know it. They see there's an opening there. They know it's going to be a good play call, and you just jump a little too soon in excitement that there's going to be a big play, and these refs aren't falling for that stuff.
So now it's 4th and long. Your clock ticking away, and that's what Detroit, they want to eat up this clock here or walk away here. Still a chance for the Tigers to get back in it. Down 21-8. Detroit just thinking over their play. Snacks Brown leads his team up to the line.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting here. Again, this is a big conversion. You want to keep that clock rolling. You don't want to give the Tigers the ball in your own field here. Drop back, looking to the right, wide open, complete to and took 2 steps and just could not hold on to the ball. The refs say she does have it. They're encouraging her to keep running. They're calling it a completed pass and a touchdown. Oh, what a big turn of events there.
Looks like she caught it initially.
Alicia Craig.
She took those 2 steps with the ball, then fumbled the ball, recovered her fumble, and scored the TD.
Oh,
the whole Carolina team thought that it was an incomplete pass, but she took 2 steps before that ball fell out of her hands, which is a complete pass.
Wow, crazy play.
Recovered fumble on her behalf and just walked in with nobody chasing her down. Alicia Craig.
Crazy play, and a big one at that, as that puts the Prowl back up with a little cushion here. And it must have just, on that replay, bounced off her, just she kicked it out of her own hands. Took 2 steps and bobbled it, and fortunately it went forward for her and picked it up, turned around, looked at everybody, and didn't the ref said, hey, it didn't, no incomplete sign, so might as well just stroll backwards. And
there was no whistle, and nobody from the Tigers were chasing her down,
crazy.
Why not? I'll just take it.
Yeah,
All right.
Nice. You play to the whistle. I'm sure the coaches from Carolina are going to tell the girls that, a lesson learned on defense. You play to that whistle. And now Bernaden in for the extra point here to try to put them up by another 20. And they just wanted to reemphasize. I don't know if that was just to tell the coaching staff from Carolina it was a touchdown. Here is the snap. The kick is up and through the uprights. So, back up to 20 now. 28-8 with 9:28 left to go here in the 4th, but there is a flag on the play. And maybe hopefully Carolina jumped. Extra point is good. So, the score remains 28-8. And after the play, there was unsportsmanlike conduct after the play, and the penalty will be assessed on the kickoff. So you don't want to see that. Someone took some liberties.
Absolutely. You don't want to see that late here in the game. But going back to that TD here, touchdown, Brown just aired it out. Looked like a beautiful pass, and she picked it up, and she ran 2 steps, dropped it, and all the Tiger players thought it was an incomplete pass. She picked it up. She was sort of dazed there, picked it up and ran it in. And usually you don't see that kind of play happen like that. But great effort and great pass by Brown.
That was a beautiful pass. Alicia Craig on that, how she found herself wide open as she made the stutter step at the line and ankle broke the defender for Carolina to get herself open. So the craziness of the whole play led to a fantastic juke move at the line and her being wide open. And as you mentioned, Frank, Brown saw it, waited, and laid a beauty of a pass right in her arms. So all the craziness aside, the Prowl up with another commanding 20-point lead.
Coach Vitale telling them this is how we do it. This is how we do it,
This
Detroit.
is it.
We're the back-to-back champs here. This is why we're the champs.
Ball on the ground. King picks it up, starts left, has to go back to the right, and drag down in the back where Carolina will start at their own 31-yard line.
All the bets were on 27-yard line before being brought down by number 9.
So
Coach Vitale, he's all over the field talking to people.
well, finally he's got some time now. He finds himself in a lead with a cushion, and that hasn't happened in a little bit, and it's always a good feeling. The players feel good. The coaches feel good. It's a Saturday night here in the Detroit area, and so, the sponsors are happy. The only people that aren't happy are the crew that got to clean up after this, Frank.
Absolutely. And remember, they're still a back-to-back champs. Whether it's 2 leagues or this league or whatever, they're still the champs until they get beat out of the playoffs.
And we'll see if that championship mentality can take hold here in the next couple weeks. There's a handoff bounced out to their sideline coming into your camera. King gets the corner, gains about 4 yards, and she's out of bounds at the 39-yard line. She did not get enough for the first down. And I stand corrected on there. It was Mackenzie Richards, the ball carrier, on there on that last carry.
Well, 8:50 to go here in the fourth quarter. Clock running, down by 20. See if the Tigers air it out again here, or they're going to bounce it to the outside and look for a long run.
One receiver split up top, 3 backs. There's Venus around the outside. Didn't find any there. Drop for a loss.
Venus got caught in the fly trap there as the ball got pitched to the outside. Nothing happening there, and Detroit just swallowed it up.
Good pursuit there. And again, it's when you have the player the caliber of Octavia Griswold in that middle, it spreads your own defense out, has to force to spread the Carolina offense out, and allows your own defenders, those backs, those linebackers to come up into play and take all those runs away. So second down and 11 to go here. 7:38 left on the clock. Handoff to Mackenzie. There's a fumble on a play. She was stripped and
whoever
bounces on the ball. And
who else but Octavia Griswold
Richards gains her own
getting in
fumble.
the backfield, stripping that ball as big number 97 making things happen defensively for Detroit.
So Griswold is down on the play after making that strip. She's kind of, looks like she maybe pinched a shoulder. She did make a beautiful play stripping that ball. And
she's got to be tired after the night performance that she's put on here. She's just bottled up that whole defensive line and made it tough for the Carolina Tigers to do anything offensively with her on the D-line.
Yeah. And so hopefully that was the case, the reach out, maybe a little overextension and got a stinger on that shoulder. Maybe she landed and got that stinger, and hopefully she'll be all right as helping her to her feet and getting her to the sidelines. And, yeah, it looks like she got a smile on her face. She says she's all right. Yeah, she's good. She'll have to sit out for this play, and they may just, you never know, Coach may have her take a seat these last 7 minutes here. She has played, as you mentioned, a lot, Frank, a lot of football here. But, yeah, she got a stinger, and she's good. She's good to go. She'll be ready.
She's smiling. She wants to get back in, so they'll have to go a couple plays without her and see. We'll see if the Tigers go to that side of the field.
That's my stripping hand, she says. I used to strip the ball with this hand.
That's
I'm
right.
Good, yeah.
El Strippo.
So, again, the Tigers run a lot of all 3 backs. The Tigers have seen action, trying to catch the Prowl defense off balance, and they're running out of time here. Clock moving, 7 minutes left. Reynolds falls forward for a couple, and that'll bring up 4th and about 10.
Nothing much happening there. Hit first by Lexi Bryant. Slowed her down. In Detroit, the rest of the Prowl team members gobbled her up, and we've got a 4th down here.
Back to that same formation, big 4th down here play. This could be the nail in the coffin here. Caught in the backfield, forced to run way outside, nothing going. Losing more yards, a pitch forward. A flag on the play, you can't lateral forward or a hold, and spins close to the 1st down. And
that one's coming back. I'm sure they're going to take this penalty against the Tigers, because she looks like she almost got the 1st down, or maybe even got the 1st down. So they have no choice but to take this penalty, as it's against the Tigers.
Oh, there was a holding. Now, see, I thought the handoff was, I guess she was behind the line of scrimmage, but it was a handoff. So as she did pitch it as a pass, the hold took effect as she was running downfield, and I thought at first it may have been an illegal forward pass, but that wasn't the case. Holding offense.
So they'll replay this down. 4th down again.
And Prowl will get the ball 1st and 10 at the Tigers' 40-yard line. So almost a good heads-up play there by the Tigers player to get the ball out of her hands and move it forward. Good heady play, but that hold on the outside just shot that down, and here come the Prowl.
Well, desperate times mean desperate moves, so they had to get that ball out, and this goes back to almost the 1st down marker.
So now with 6 minutes to go here, left in the 4th quarter, commanding lead for the Prowl. Maybe try some more plays here. See what Coach Vitale has. No, it's just a straight handoff. There's looking for some room to the left, to the right. Smile, something to beat. 20, 15, gonna waltz it to the end zone. Touchdown, Prowl, as Edwards found that corner. And a beautiful run. And another late flag, maybe bringing this back.
Boots Edwards right there. We'll see. Hopefully this isn't against Detroit.
And it is a hold against Detroit.
Boots turned that corner. What a beautiful run by her. That will be nullified here with the penalty.
So
she's going to go back out there and try it again.
Yeah, might as well.
You see Boots right there saying, what happened?
Well, it's, again, there's been quite a few runs that have been brought back on holding in this game. And I'm not going to, again, the refs do a fantastic job. But, really at times, no one's come here to see you. You have a play there. If there's a questionable, play. I mean, where was the hold on that play? It looked like there was a lot. It didn't look like there was that gap was created by a hold at all. And if it's inside, well, what are you calling? Come on. Put the whistles away. There's a handoff to Stromile. She'll try around that same side, right side. That's blocked off. She'll try her take a step to the left, cuts back to the middle. Converged on by Tigers, whistle blown, but not before she got to the 46-yard line.
Well, they went with the simple handoff again, got a few yards, not the big gainer like the one that was nullified on the penalty. We'll see what Brown has up her sleeve here, going out of the shotgun again.
Time ticking down. Stromile is replaced by Edwards, whose long run was nullified, and she gets the ball. And there she is up the middle to the 48-yard line and close to where the original sticks were. They'll bring up third down and about 10.
So another
maybe 11.
Quick handoff. Clock running, just over 4 minutes to go here. Detroit just wanting to eat up clock here in Carolina territory, just over the 50-yard line.
And that was 23 Pinkett on the last carry, not 28 Edwards.
Darina Pickett, defensive back and running back for the Prowl.
And again, a little late changes here. Everyone wants to get into the game here. Want to get some repetitions in. Their little movement. Now they're set. Time winding down. There's the handoff around the outside. And Bugs Patman gets close to the first down sticks.
Oh, Bugsy just took it to the outside. The fullback, Patman, looking to break that one and just couldn't get across past the defense of the Carolina Tigers.
So 4th down and 2 yards. Prowl looking to put the game away right now. Put an exclamation point on this. 3:05 left here running.
We'll see
Brown,
what Snacks has up her sleeve here.
Brown up under center. I formation. She calls her own number, just runs for the first down. She scampers for 4 right up the middle.
Snacks with the sneak right there, the quarterback sneak, and they get the first down.
And again, the Prowl howl comes into effect across their fans here as the time winding down. Player on the field, she's got a cramp, it looks like. It's one thing, you go this whole entire game and, you're feeling good, you're winning, all of a sudden your calf starts to cramp up on you. Like, what is going on here? Can I get a couple minutes? Cramping up. Oh.
Yeah.
Misery.
Need the smelling salts out there.
It always feels better, though, when you're winning by 20. It's more bearable.
Absolutely. You can see the confidence on the Detroit Prowl sideline right now. The players, the fans are eating it up, too. Their biggest offensive outburst this season with 28 points. And this game well in hand here late in the fourth quarter.
Frank, they cut the penalties down the second half. It allowed them to keep possession of the ball. It gave them some momentum, some confidence, as you mentioned earlier, and they started rolling. And this game, going into the playoffs is absolutely huge. They're going to go out tonight. They got to win at home, their last home game for the fans. Their fans are going to join them wherever they're going for some pizzas and some beverages and celebrate the night, get ready for the playoffs. A big game for the Prowl, going on their last home game before the playoffs, building some team camaraderie, and a good win here tonight for them. If things stand up with 2:40 left to go on the clock.
Absolutely. I mean, you don't want to go into the playoffs losing a game and sputter and spin and everything else. You're going into this playoff game the way you want. A good offensive performance, a good stellar defense, and here you go.
So Hebel now comes in up under center as Brown had enough for the evening. Hebel's taking some reps. There's a handoff. It's misbobbled and rolled around there. We're going to see who has it. It looks like Carolina may have come up with that. Nope, they're marking second down, so the Prowl looks like they retained possession on that handoff. Clock running. 2 minutes, some change. And again, they're hurrying up. They're getting some people in there on offense to get some reps here. Brown back into the game. 2nd and 9, and not that it really matters at this point, more or less. The coach wants to get some plays in, get some snaps for everybody. There's a handoff up the middle. Good blocking. Patman down to the 15-yard line and a first down. That'll keep that clock going and solidify possession, and this game is now done.
Bugsy just took that ball straight up the middle, number 35. Patman, the fullback, coming in here big late in the game.
And again, coach, telling them to hurry up at the line. They do want to, and they're trying, maybe there's a timeout called. And 2-minute warning, my bad. So 1:48 is left on the clock.
So here you go. Detroit trying to change things up, 1:48. We've got it. So 2-minute warning at 1:48. Coach Vitale talking to his team, loving what he's seeing. I'm sure he wants to make it perfect and make it better, and that's great. That's the way it should be, where coaches keep working. They want to make things tighter. They want players to learn things. They want them to be disciplined, and he's listening to some beats right now.
Yeah, and he's moving a lot better. All of a sudden, he's like graceful on his feet now.
Right.
It's almost like twinkle toes out there.
Yeah, I saw him do a couple pirouettes down on the sidelines.
I thought I saw the same thing also. I mean, that's the pirouette. That's what you're going to get from him, the pirouettes, and everyone's in a good mood on that Prowl sideline, smiling, and it's kind of funny,
He's asking, who's cooking the steak for me tonight?
Yeah, that's right. Who's, and again, hats off to, we don't want to forget the, head coach Maurice Harvey also included in this. And, the assistant coaches, Tori Robinson and
all the coaches.
Remy
absolutely.
Moore. They're all feeling good about this. And, you take a lot of heat. There's a lot of pressure, and there's no pointing of fingers. They're all on the same page, and it looks like they've got these girls on the page heading into next week's contest. Up the middle, Patman finds another large hole. I believe that's...
Now, you're talking about all the assistant coaches. When you say a team, it's all the assistant coaches, all the people in the organization. They never get a lot of credit. They're there through all the hard work. They work with the team. They work with the players. They're there for games. They're there for practices. And they're a biggest part of this team, too, just like the head coach.
And, again, the Prowl trying to get the repetition. There's a handoff, a little stutter step up the middle. Drag some players forward with her. And second down at the 5-yard line. 23. That might have been 23. I think so. I couldn't see from she just ran off the sidelines, but so as the clock winding down here, try to get to the outside. There's a flag on the play, as we're going to see on the interior. As penalty on the Prowl.
So what we've seen today here is backup quarterback Brown develop her game and show her swagger and take control of this game.
So it's going to be an interesting decision. Of course, because good to go next week. Your starting quarterback all year, defending champion quarterback. And, what is going to be the decision?
So that's 2 weeks from today. Next week is a bye week for the league. Mm-hmm. So we're looking at the last weekend of May.
As Patman bounces off the left side here, rolls inside the 10 to the 9-yard line where
she's like a bowling ball going down an alley.
But yeah, that's going to be a good decision interesting decision to see on how the coaching staff handles this for the Prowl. And not a bad situation to have.
Right.
You've got two competent quarterbacks there. That's not bad. But that is it from Mark Eglin Field here with your Detroit Prowl taking this contest 28, the Carolina Tigers 8. And Frank, overall, you mentioned.
Well, finally, Detroit put put it all together offensively late in the second quarter, carried over into the third quarter, and there you have it, an outburst of points. 28, their biggest season total so far, and they take this game. They've got confidence. They're going to move forward. Playoff game in 2 weeks from tonight, wherever that is, and go from there.
So we want you to check out GoLiveSportsCast.com to find out when the next contest is. Again, a bye week next week, but you can check out GoLiveSportsCast.com for fantastic events, upcoming events, all over the United States, here local in Michigan also. And again, we'd love to hear from you, see you here and at these events. And Frank, it's been a pleasure as usual.
Well, it's been a pleasure having you up here, Tommy. Tommy Morris, the football expert here at times. So we'd like to close this off. Thanks for everybody tuning in to Go Live Sportscast. I am Frank Mazzella for Tommy Morris,
Kelly and the crew.
Kelly and Dean and all the Go Live Sportscast crew saying so long and good night with the final score, Detroit 28 and the Carolina Tigers 8.